Hello friends, this is Dr. Adi. Welcome to my channel, Cavity Free Kids. I am a pediatric dentist. I've been practicing for well over a decade. I've treated thousands of kids. I'm also a dad to two cavity free kids. And this specific video is going to teach you 5 things that I wish every parent knew with regards to their children's oral health. So we're going to talk about how to save hundreds and maybe even thousands of dollars in dental bills, and also to protect your children from tooth pain by preventing cavities before they start. The reason this topic is really important is a lot of people don't realize this, but early childhood cavities are the most common chronic disease of childhood. Cavities are more common than asthma, eczema, and even allergies. Every day I meet children in pain from teeth that are too decayed to be saved, and sometimes the decay is so extensive and the children are so young that they need sedation just to restore their teeth. So I'm making these videos in hopes of reducing some of that occurring, not just in my practice, but hopefully everywhere. And I want to help you prevent your child from ever going down that path. So the 5 things we're going to talk about: grazing, snacking, frequent snacking, checking added sugar labels, using re-mineralizing toothpaste, flossing daily, and starting dental visits early. If you do those 5 things, the odds of your child ever getting a cavity are going to be slim. So very important stuff. The first topic and first very, very important issue with regard to children's cavities is grazing on snacks. A lot of parents don't realize this, but frequency of eating matters more than just the sugar itself. So any kind of carbs, crackers, chips, fruit snacks, goldfish, they break down into acid. Your mouth is in an acidic state when it's breaking down food, and it takes 20 to 40 minutes for your saliva after eating to neutralize that acid. So with grazing, the teeth never get a chance to recover. You're constantly in an acidic state if you're eating if you're grazing on snacks every half hour or hour. Your mouth never gets a chance to remineralize the teeth, and it's, the solution here is to have more structured meals and maybe 2 snack times per day, perhaps clustered close to those meals so that the child has some gaps throughout the day where they're just drinking water and the mouth is in a more basic versus an acidic state. It's huge. I have parents who bring their kids in and they tell me that their kids don't eat very much candy and they don't drink juice and they only drink water. But when I ask them about grazing, they're like, oh yeah, they do snack all day, all throughout the day, at home and at school. And I'm like, well, that's probably the culprit. So grazing is a huge cause of cavities in children. So just remember that it's good for the mouth and the saliva to give it a chance to remineralize the teeth so that the mouth isn't constantly acidic. The next thing I want to talk about is added sugars. So if you look on a nutrition label, if you pick up your kid's favorite snack and you check the nutrition label, not just the front of the package that says, this is healthy, low sugar or whatever. A lot of healthy kids snacks have as much sugar as like a dessert at a restaurant. So if the first ingredient is sugar, syrup, or it ends in ose, O-S-E, then you often can treat it basically like candy. If you look on the added sugar tab, less than 25 added sugars per day is something that I aim for. With younger kids, 0 is best. So with kids that are under 2, try to avoid any added sugar in their diet. And with kids that are a little bit older, try to keep that number under 25, as close to 0 as possible. Yeah, it's something that's super important to keep in mind, the added sugar label. The next thing that is very important for keeping your child cavity free is using a re-mineralizing toothpaste. So, brushing alone often isn't enough. Kids need a toothpaste that repairs early enamel damage. So this is why, your 2 strongest options are either a fluoridated toothpaste or a toothpaste with an ingredient called NHA, short for nanohydroxyapatite. These types of toothpaste don't just remove plaque, they also strengthen the enamel, and this is going to have a huge effect on the state of your child's teeth. So if you have the right toothpaste, turns brushing into both cleaning and repair. I highly recommend using re-mineralizing toothpaste. If you have reservations about using fluoride, NHA is a great option. And obviously, along with brushing, something that's super, super important is flossing. So most cavities for kids that are aged between 3 and 8 start in between the teeth. Toothbrush bristles can't reach those areas. I don't care if you brush your teeth 10 times a day, there's always going to be a little layer of plaque in between those molars, and the only way to get it out is with floss. So without daily flossing, that food and that plaque stays, and I see cavities in between teeth more often than in any other areas in the mouth. So, get in there at least once a day if you can. It takes 20 seconds. With some kids, it's even less than that because they don't have very many contacts. So just take a peek inside of your child's mouth and see which teeth are touching and then stick a piece of floss in between those teeth from time to time. It'll go a long way. The final and last thing that is extremely important to keep your child cavity free are early dental visits. You know, early decay is invisible and it's largely preventable. So we can spot, as pediatric dentists, we can spot enamel breakdown months before there's an actual hole that's formed in the tooth. And early detection allows us to use strategies to re-mineralize the tooth. So demineralization is where the enamel is beginning to break down, and remineralization is the process of actually healing that enamel, which we can do before a hole forms in the tooth. You know, we can make diet changes and recommendations to keep your child's teeth healthier, and we can also apply sealants on permanent molars to help prevent cavities on those teeth. So early dental visits are huge for preventing larger problems down the road. So what I usually tell parents is schedule a first visit by age 1 and then come see me every 6 months after that. We don't usually anticipate finding anything, you know, on a child that's 1 year old, but the idea is just to get them used to coming into the office, becoming familiar with the environment, and getting used to, you know, having their teeth checked by a hygienist or a dentist. So that's it for this video. If you are interested in diving deeper into some of this stuff and want to learn more about the full system that I teach parents in my office, I've created an ebook called Raising Cavity-Free Kids. And it's got brushing tips, flossing hacks, sugar timing, snack swaps, stuff about sealants and treatments that we do. It's all in one step-by-step guide, and it's all evidence-based, and it's written, you know, from my perspective, both as a pediatric dentist and a dad. And it's linked in the video description. Hope you guys enjoyed that video, and I'll see you in the next one.